jedni na celom svijete.
Nature. It surrounds us, and there's no doubt in the fact it is the most important part of our planet Earth. Humans have always wanted to know every secret of it, studying it closely across all historical periods. Let's take a closer look at what is widely known. Organisms can be divided into three categories: plants, animals, and fungi. However, the most interesting category is fungi, not a plant nor an animal, yet much closer to the latter. But what if it became even closer? Recently, there has been a discovery of unique zones in the eastern part of Czechoslovakia, specifically in the Priov district. These zones have been named Heaven Gardens and are thusly also referred to as the HG zones. So far only 17 of them have been documented and preserved. Now you may ask, what are these Heaven Gardens and what do they have to do with fungi? A heaven garden is like an oasis. Plants increasingly prosper, recently deceased carcasses of animals magically come back to life again. Even insects that have been in some way injured seem to quickly heal from their wounds. This picture features the HG07 zone. All of this is controlled by a heaven garden's most crucial detail, the prominent presence of a unique type of fungus. Anomalous. The two-ringed resurrector is a fungus only found in the previously mentioned HG zones. Its Latin name stems from the miraculous ability to resurrect dead animals and regenerate almost any type of a living organism, making it in some way connected to them. At first glance it looks like the most common type of fungus found in Czechoslovakia, however upon closer look, one can notice it bears two rings, which is the second of its unusual traits. Two-ringed resurrector grows in tufts or bunches. It can have an aerial subtype and a tree stump subtype. Nonetheless, its most common one is ground. Warning. It is strictly forbidden to gather the two-ringed resurrector. Heaven gardens are protected by the law. Unauthorized trespassing will be punished. Theories arise to explain the reasoning behind its sudden outbreak, one of them being that it forms spores similar to the ones of specific bacteria, for example Bacillus anthracis. These spores are thusly metabolically inactive but still keep the cells of the fungus intact. Therefore, we can almost certainly say that the fungus was able to start its metabolic process due to the increasing temperature of Earth, since Anomalous' preferred conditions are exceptionally warm and humid. The spores have survived long enough without too much damage for the species to be able to thrive now. This is where we come in. In order to analyze this fungus even further, a research facility had to be funded. That's why the organic experimental research came to existence. We, at the O.E.R facility, are striving to figure out how exactly can we incorporate Anomalous benefits into everyday life for common folk. After some experiments, we were able to extract substance from the fungi with seemingly the same properties as it shows in its natural preserved state. The stabilized form of the substance was consequently named ROFIDine, which stands for the following: R, regenerative, retains its regenerative characteristics. O, organic, isn't particularly elemental. F, fungal, from the fungus Anomalous. E, extract. ROFIDine can be surprisingly maintained in all forms of matter, liquid, solid, gas and even plasma, substantially. The solution has been so far only used on rodents to heal small wounds. Unfortunately, some side effects have appeared, but they bared minimum risk. Side effects included but were not limited to dizziness, restlessness, small mutations, slight increase of cannibalistic tendencies. However, the ROFIDine seems to work slightly differently than Resurrector does in HG zones. It is still indescribable how this deviation occurs and most importantly why, although the main theory is that it happens due to ROFIDine being synthetically extracted. That's where you come in, our dear viewer. We at the O.E.R facility reach out to you for help with further experimentation and research, as working with sapient patients is far more result-giving than lab rats. The payment for being an O.E.R patient is 10,000 Slovak crowns divided into multiple salaries throughout the course of hospitalization. You will be provided with the best care from our doctors and scientists. A private room. 3 whole meals at a canteen plus a buffet. If you start having worries or anxiety, be not afraid to ask questions and contact your supervising doctor. Fear should always be handled in pairs. Join us today, and be the reason for scientific breakthroughs. If you're willing to be part of this project, please call the phone number on your TV screen.